Well, there it is, Campbell Pavilion, home of the UConn Huskies. They're going to host Seton Hall there at the bottom of the hour. We're taking you right up to tip-off right here on your home for UConn women's basketball. It is SNY. As we welcome you, it is the UConn women's basketball pregame show presented by Cadillac. I'm Gary Apple, once again alongside Kara Walters. The Huskies coming off their biggest win of the season, arguably their biggest win of the last couple of years, as they knocked off #1 South Carolina 63-59 in overtime on Monday night. And Carol, was a tremendous finish to that game. Paige Beckers was off the charts. I love the comment by Dan Hurley. He called her a stone-cold killer. That's the men's coach on Paige Beckers right there. So it was fun to watch, was it not?
It was really fun to watch. I mean, you can finally say we have Paige and you don't, right? That was the famous line Gino had with Diana Taurasi back in the day. We have Paige and you don't. I mean, this was a remarkable. I mean, this is a young team to do what they did. If you look at their stats, most of their stats were the lowest of the season, okay? But then you throw Paige into the mix as a young player. It was a gritty, grinded out type of game, right, Gary? I mean, they had to work. And as a young player, sometimes that can go the opposite way. Well, they really pulled together. I mean, Paige Beckers, I mean, she was just phenomenal. All over the place. They worked together as a team. She got good shots and shots that were ridiculous, right, that she still made. And she does this all in big-time games. So it's not like she's just scoring some points. It's showing up in the big games. And as a freshman, that's really rare.
It really is. And Gino's been on her since the beginning of the season. Shoot the basketball, right? He wants her to shoot the basketball. One of the things, though, is that she's a clutch player. We saw it in the Tennessee game. We saw it in this win over South Carolina. And listen, I'm not comparing her to the logo of the NBA, Jerry West, who is one of the great clutch players in the history of the league. But she has this penchant to rise to the occasion in big situations, and that not everybody has that quality. What is it about her that allows her to deliver in those situations?
Let me just start with, this is a girl that in the post-game press conference said, you know, I owe my teammates an apology because I think they got some of their illegal screens because of me moving before the screen got there. And you go, what? Like, you just saved the day for this team and you want to go apologize to your teammates? That shows you the type of person, player, teammate that Paige Beckers is. Very unselfish. She brings a lot of energy. But to say something like that, I owe my teammates an apology, after scoring 31 points and carrying them through the game, but you can see she's coachable, she's hardworking, she's committed. I mean, we keep talking about, like, what do we say about Paige, right? Superlatives. So, I mean, she just picks them up when you had some older players not really scoring. You had Avina Westbrook, 0 points.
Right.
You had Kristen Williams turning the ball over. And Olivia Nelson-Ododa, she did a good job setting her up, setting screens, but didn't contribute offensively a lot. So Paige picked it up in that department. So you have to make sure there's a balance now, right? With Paige scoring and the older class not saying, let's just watch Paige now. Let's keep moving and getting involved with the offense. But it's not a bad problem to have when you have someone like Paige.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's try to figure out how everyone can score. Not a bad problem to have, but it shows you the type of person she is with that comment.
It's a great, I can't even call it a problem. It's a great situation. And the fact so many times a freshman comes in, this sort of performance, and the veteran players will have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder saying, hey, this is my team. But everybody has deferred a little bit to Paige here because they understand the legend that is growing here, and that includes the head coach. Here he was following the game on Monday night.
I'm always surprised when she shoots and the ball doesn't go in, you know, and her defense is getting better all the time, and there's not much you can say. I mean, she's that player. She's that player that, you know, comes along that people talk about. Hey, just see that kid from Connecticut. She's that kid.
Oh, yeah, we saw that kid from Connecticut. We all did, as we get a look right now. Last 3 games for the star freshman, Paige Beckers. The numbers presented by Cadillac. Beckers, the first player in the history of the UConn program to have 3 consecutive 30-point games. It is staggering, and she's less than 15 games into her career at UConn. Let's welcome in Maria Marino right now. And Maria, I know you had a chance to get on the phone with the assistant coach, Shea Ralph, today. Talk about Paige Beckers. What did you take out of that conversation?
I did catch up with Shea Ralph, and she somewhat confirmed what I had been thinking, which is that what Paige has been doing, okay, the first UConn player to score 30 in 3 straight games. It's extraordinary, especially when you consider the history of the program. But Shea was quick to point out that a lot of those former UConn players, Diana, Maya, Stewie, they were all on great teams. And while this team is very talented, she wouldn't call them great just yet. But like those past players, she said that Paige will do what is necessary to get the win because she hates losing. And I feel that does point to some flaws with the team as a whole when she's had to take over and carry them to the extent that she has. So I asked Paige and Nika Mule what can be done to get the rest of the offense going. The first thing that Paige talked about was setting up and waiting for screens, because she noted that against South Carolina, they did get called for a lot of offensive fouls. She also talked about the importance of general movement, both with and without the ball. When they get stagnant, it's because they're standing around and watching. Now, Nika mentioned that sometimes shots aren't going to fall, but she said the details, like knowing when to cut, cutting harder, reading screens, once those things start to get fixed, the offense is going to look a whole lot better.
And one of the things Kara's spoken about, the high basketball IQ that Paige Bueckers already has. And as you're pointing out right there, it is going to just grow from here. We thank you, Maria, just getting going here on the UConn women's basketball pregame show. The former Husky, Batuli Kamara, making a difference off the court following her graduation. Going to spend some time with her just ahead. And we're going to get a look at Paige Bueckers as we head for break. As a 4th consecutive 30-point game in the cards for her? And if so, what is one of the major keys to that coming to fruition? That and so much more on the way, and we are back in a jiff. Well, there it is, the UConn locker room following the win on Monday night. Celebratory mood, and Paige Bueckers noted that the team went directly for the Hall of Famer Gino Auriemma's well-coiffed hair. Many of the players who have called UConn home over the years have gone on to do some remarkable things away from the hardwood, and amongst those is the former Husky Batuli Kamara. She only appeared in 23 games during her 3 seasons at Connecticut, but her legacy as an ambassador for young women has only grown since she graduated a season ago. As we honor Black History Month, we take a look now at how Batuli is making the most of her platform.
My name is Batuli Kamara. I'm 24 years old. I'm a first-generation Guinean, West African, and I'm a native New Yorker. I was born and raised in New York City, and my mother was the first-generation Guinean. Her and my father immigrated here in the 1990s, and they just had a strong belief in education and new opportunities that weren't afforded to them in Guinea, West Africa, and came here in hopes of a new life for us. I felt like I grew up with a deep sense of purpose at an early age. And I would just hear stories of my mother's upbringing and opportunities that girls didn't have. And I just had this fire burning in me. And I just remember having so many experiences with athletes and, knowing who they were or not knowing who they were and saying, this is a fleeting moment. This is a fleeting platform. And if you're lucky enough to have it even for a second, what would you say? What would you do with it? And I always said, I give a voice to the voiceless. If I'm here and I have a moment, I want to use it for good because I know how much of a village it took to raise me, and I would want to do the same to educate, equip, and empower young girls all over the world through sport. I would say one of the biggest struggles to date for me has been deciding to cover up as a Muslim woman. And initially I was, I've always been Muslim, but to be able to take a step in my spiritual journey to become visibly Muslim had a set of challenges for me, especially as I decided to go professionally and play basketball and having, agents and various people tell me you can't do that and you shouldn't do that and there won't be an opportunity for you. So that was extremely difficult to me because I think the greatest challenge that we all face is the battle within ourselves. I'd say the work probably took over 5 years. and it was an internal battle. And so when it got to the point where it was now manifested in the next step, I was fully secure in the consequences that might have entailed. And so at that point, it was, I really want to play professionally. I don't see anyone who looks like me, but this feels very tangible and this feels right. Initially, our outline was every girl in the world should have an opportunity to play. And so we were able to do camps in partnership in India, going back to Guinea and France, and then going back to Guinea. And as I continued to grow, so did the organization and those who were interested and invested and the girls that we were able to work with. And today we have, so thankfully, to have won the Billie Jean King Award, which is an amazing grant, and recently published a children's book where all the proceeds go to our programming. It has been so rewarding to stay connected to them. Every time I come back, they've improved, they've grown. And that's what happens when you have hope. Every time I see them, I think it becomes a little bit more real, and they improve and they're growing as amazing young women. And so it is extremely, extremely rewarding to me to be able to do what others have done for me. For me, it's so much more than talking and giving speeches, but to actually be there on the ground and to experience this with them. Because once you have that shared experience, that is something that no one can take away. And I'm a living proof of what it has done for me.
Boy, a remarkable look at Batouly Kamara, and we certainly salute her here tonight. As for tonight's game, we get a look on the way out the door here. Aubrey Griffin getting set to face off against Seton Hall. She's a huge part of what this Huskies team is doing, a big part of that win over South Carolina on Monday. Going to take a look at the contributions of UConn's role players when we come back here on our pregame show in just a moment. We're back inside Studio 31, and social media was abuzz on Monday night. Former UConn greats Breanna Stewart and Rebecca Lobo tweeting about Paige Beckers. Also saw Donyell Marshall heaping praise on the freshman guard. Let's get more on tonight's contest. Welcome in our broadcast crew, Alan Beswick and Meg Colmo. They join us now from Storrs, Connecticut. Guys.
All right, Gary and Kara, well, one of the fascinating things about all the conversation about Paige is Paige always talks about her teammates. And I want to talk about her freshman teammates. They've been terrific this season. What have you seen from them?
Gosh, I've seen a really interesting evolution and maturation really over the last 3 or 4 weeks. They just keep getting better and better and better and more confident, more comfortable in their role. And for that South Carolina game Monday night, for the freshmen to be in the game at the most critical points, and to all of them have played over 35 minutes. I mean, Paige played every minute of the game, but Nika Mule and Aaliyah Edwards each played 35 minutes, and they were out there in crunch time when the game was on the line. That tells you the faith that the coaching staff has in them as well.
Makes you smile thinking about the next 3 years as well. Speaking of the South Carolina game, holding that team to less than 60 points after giving up 90 to Arkansas not that long ago. What changed for UConn's defense?
Honestly, I think it was just a mental toughness and a decision that we're not going to let them score. I mean, simply, I don't want to say they were embarrassed at Arkansas, because I think that's a stretch, but my goodness, you can guard better than that, and I think the film showed them that. But they got in a stance and they played. Now, as Gino has joked over the course of the season, what helped is that South Carolina missed a lot of shots. That made their defense look a little better. But they made stops when they had to. And it's just because they were tougher and wanted to and had that grit more than they had in the past.
Yeah, and it was fun to see. A sidebar story, Gary. Sometimes when we have to do a game from a standing position, Meg still gets down at a defensive position here at the TV table. Does Kara do that in the studio?
A very good question, Alan. And Kara, I don't want to embarrass you, but we have seen you in the office as we're discussing what's going on, right? Getting into defensive and running through some plays for us.
Yeah, usually in the office, but the old knees don't work so well. But I do want to go back to something Meg was talking about, the defense.
Yes, please.
21 turnovers they forced South Carolina into. I mean, that's defense right there, and holding them to only 60 points. And I hate to call out my girl Dawn Staley because she was my point guard on the Olympic team. However, she did say part of the reason was because of the ball.
The actual basketball.
The basketball. They're not used to playing with a Nike ball. They play with the Wilson ball. And I was like, come on, even if you were thinking it, please don't say it, because they've played with that ball a lot and still haven't had 21 turnovers. So guess what? I'm going to give the credit back to UConn and not the basketball, Dawn.
When I read that and saw that comment by Dawn Staley, the basketball, please, we got to check right now. And, you know, Paige got all the headlines. She had a few teammates who did step up on Monday night as well. These numbers presented by Town Fair Attire. And Aaliyah Edwards and Nika Mule and Aubrey Griffin were all huge in that game. Let's focus in for a moment on Aaliyah Edwards and the way, Kara, she changed the game on Monday night.
Huge. Huge.
Yeah.
She guarded Aaliyah Boston, a lot. There was a lot of banging in there, right? She's very physical. We saw that, and I think she brought it to another level. So banging with Boston in there, but also rebounding the basketball. She throws her body everywhere. Remember the charge she took the other day and took it to the mouth? But really made Boston tired, made her work for her points. Really defensively all over the place. I thought she did a great job. She's just that workhorse in there. Takes up a lot of space, does the dirty work, strong body, something that Gino's missed in the past couple of years. Different than Olivia Nelson-Ododa, who had some problems, foul problems, and came out of the game. I mean, think about it, though. In overtime, he started 3 freshmen, a sophomore, and a redshirt junior. I mean, that tells you about his confidence in Aaliyah and the rest of the group. To play that, start that group in overtime, she's doing something right.
She is, and we heard Meg say that Aaliyah played 35 minutes in the game. Yeah. Aubrey Griffin played 22 minutes in the game. We saw her time and time again on those balls that were down the low post into Boston. Edwards was helped out down there by Griffin, who came to help, and they doubled and tripled. She's tough out there. A couple of big offensive rebounds by Aubrey Griffin. What impresses you most about her?
She's just so strong. She's long, and she's athletic. She's light, a little bit like a Gabby Williams. You see her hops, right? She can get up there, and she's really done a good job doing that, whatever's needed of her kind of player. But her athleticism and her length make it very difficult for people. And then on the offensive end, she's one of those quick first-step players that can get to the basket. She makes it very difficult to guard, but most importantly, her attitude is great. Whatever's needed from her, she's going to go out there and give the effort, and I think that's what's really good about this freshman class, right? They have an energy and effort that they're going to make an impact on the game, right? I always say that, right? I read Gino say something about that the other day. Make an impact in the game, and these freshmen play with such confidence that they're making impact on the game.
UConn comes in 14-1 on the season, 11-0 on the year. Seton Hall 9-3. 7-2 in the Big East. So a good matchup tonight coming up in Storrs, Connecticut. When we come back, again, so much discussion about Paige, and rightly so, but what about the rest of the offense and how it stood out in the win on Monday? The bounce. Right? The bounce. Fired up, Paige Beckers. We'll look at the offense as a whole when we come right back. Gary Apple, Kara Walters back inside Studio 31. I think one of the things that's getting overlooked a little bit by how well Paige is performing is the overall half-court offense that UConn is displaying right now. What impresses you most about that?
Well, how they're getting Paige Beckers open, right? If you have a player like that, you're going to help any way you can to get her open. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of screens coming. You really like this. Look, Olivia pulls Boston out. You have to pull their big player out, right? You want to make room in the back door. The lane's open, but then, look, you see 4 people around her, and Paige Beckers still scores. But there's a lot of back doors and a lot of screens. When Paige sets up her person, they overplay her as they should, and she's wide open. You get the back door with Aaliyah Edwards, same thing, dragging people out. And on this one, I love it. Just shows you all the screens being set in their offense. Aaliyah setting a screen, Olivia setting a screen, Olivia going back and setting a screen for Paige, and Paige being unselfish sees Olivia cutting down the lane. Easy, right? So it all comes down to their movement and their setting screens and their back doors. And it's precise. And I think that those are basic things in basketball, right? Move the ball, move. But they're doing it at a level now that's so precise. And Paige is finding where to get the ball to certain people, kind of threading the needle. But you can see it in those plays. And then I thought Olivia, although she didn't score a lot of points, she set a lot of great screens, and she tried to pull Boston out to keep room in the paint. Now, sometimes, Gary, I do have to say, I think she could have shot the shot out there, but great job by the team getting Paige open.
You say it looks easy. Yes, it does look easy. No, it looks easy because they execute so well, and the game plan right? They make it look easy. It's
Right.
not as easy as it looks. So we're getting set for UConn and Seton Hall, a rematch. UConn beat them earlier in this season. There's Aaliyah Edwards getting set to go. Final thoughts when we come back in just a moment. Here we go. It is UConn's starting lineup tonight. Once again, Mika Mule is getting the start in the backcourt, and could be Nelson Adota, Vita Westbrook, Kristen Williams, and Paige Beckers all in there for the Huskies. By the way, Seton Hall squad that comes in very hot right now. They've won 6 consecutive games, and so Karen and I are going to see you back at the half right now. It's Seton Hall and UConn. Enjoy all the action right here on SNY.
Seems like first time in a long time it's not snowing in stores. There's plenty enough outside, though, to keep your winter fantasies alive. Inside Gamble Pavilion, it's time to talk basketball. A 1-versus-2 matchup in Big East play. The second-place Seton Hall Pirates are in town to play the UConn Huskies. Tip-off is coming up. And hi, everybody. Alan Bestwick with Megan Culmo. As if it wasn't this way before Monday night's victory over South Carolina, but talk to a UConn women's basketball fan. All they want to ask you about is Paige Beckers. These last 5 games have been phenomenal from the freshman. What's impressed you most?
You know, her ability to score and score when her team really needs her to score. But I love the way she moves on the floor, whether it's coming off a screen exactly the way she's supposed to. I mean, off the dribble, her pull-up is as good as anybody's in the game. And she scored those 2 buckets in the 4th quarter when her team was struggling offensively. The way she used that screen from Olivia Nelson-Adota, and then this 3-pointer with the clock winding down to win the game. And it's funny, I said to Gino, wow, that shot's crazy, but you know what? She does that every day in practice. But look at the numbers those last 5 games. I don't know if I've seen numbers that impressive from a UConn freshman, certainly.
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible to watch, and she was the leading scorer last time the Huskies played Seton Hall. Now, that was back on December 15th. UConn had a 27-point victory. This Seton Hall team tonight is a very different squad that's come to town, and it's because of a name familiar to UConn fans.
Yeah, right after UConn played Seton Hall, Andra Espinoza-Hunter had transferred into Seton Hall. She played at UConn for just a hot minute back in 17-18. Transferred to Mississippi State, was there for 2 years. The coach left, she wasn't happy. She's now a graduate student, and she has made all the difference in the world. Not only the 21 points a game leading the team, but Coach Tony Bozzella told us today she has done more off the court for this team, bringing them together, a great teammate, just a maturity about her. She's made them exponentially better, and it's great to see.
And as we mentioned, Seton Hall now tied with DePaul for 2nd place in the Big East, so they are the opponent tonight. This is the tail end of what Gino said was the toughest stretch of the season for his Huskies. They've taken care of business so far, beating Marquette and Milwaukee, and then the win over South Carolina here on Monday night. It's UConn and Seton Hall to wrap up that stretch. Coming up next.
The players that I've had that are on Paige's level, they know they're good.
And for Beckers, yes!
She's one of these kids that if you did make it too easy, she would lose respect for you.
But that pass.
Paige looks forward to it, the grind of it.
Until he has nothing left to complain about, I will be unsatisfied. They demand excellence in everything that we do. I knew that coming in, but just living it is so much better.
Magic of Paige Beckers!
The fabulous freshman from Minnesota, the first player in this program's long, storied history with 30-plus points in 3 straight games. And as we look at tonight's starting lineups presented by Subaru, on the floor with her freshman running mate, Mika Mule. This lineup combination for UConn being used for a 3rd game. For Seton Hall, normal starter Alexia Alesh out tonight with a leg injury. And so Jasmine Smith gets her 2nd start of the season for the 2nd place Pirates. So UConn in the home whites with the national flag blue and red trim. Seton Hall with their road blue uniforms. And we're ready to go inside Gamble Pavilion. 1 versus 2 in the Big East again, and UConn with the opening tip.
I like that decision by Nelson Adota to not shoot that first open 15-footer.
Beckers misses the first shot of the ball game. So here is Lauren Park Lane with the ball. She lit up the Huskies for 29 in that December 15th matchup down in New Jersey. Good kick outside by Elmore. Park Lane. Now Espinoza Hunter. Elmore gets the first points of the game. Desiree Elmore from Hartford. Nelson Adota rattles around and out.
The key is to see if UConn can move on offense. All 5 players, no one's standing around and watching for somebody else to do it.
Good defense there by Nika Mule, cut off Elmore. There's Espinoza Hunter. 10 to shoot. Nelson Adota defends Elmore.
Good defense on the lefty.
Maya Jackson misses. Good defense by Kristen Williams to stay with her. Williams has it stripped by Espinoza Hunter.
Yeah, terrific hands there by Espinoza Hunter.
Will get knocked out of bounds as we look at Gino Oriama. Looking for career win number 1,105 tonight. Check that one. He's looking for 1,106. Nelson Adota. Yes.
Big height advantage in there for Nelson Adota. She could have a field day inside.
So keys to the game for Seton Hall, told to us by Tony Bozzella. They've got to make some shots.
And Elmore is helping. 2 for 2 so far.
Particularly their outside shots. They were terrible from 3 in that December game down in Jersey. And then they have to force UConn to stay outside and shoot from outside.
Yeah, they look to, they look to shoot a lot of threes. They make 9 threes a game.
Kristen Williams off the screen for Nelson Adota, rattles around, but doesn't count.
Nice pass.
Elmore cut off by Westbrook, but a wide open shot for Maya Jackson from the corner for 3.
Maya Jackson playing well early.
Ball knocked away from Westbrook underneath.
You see
and that'll be a trap.
You see the Seton Hall bench jumping up. I mean, Tony Bozzella, he is such a terrific coach, a great leader for this team, great energy. He's feeling a heck of a lot better than he was the first time these two teams played when he was coming off a bad scare with COVID.
A very nasty bout with COVID. Well, the slow start here for the Huskies, something after the big win over South Carolina on Monday that certainly is a valid concern.
Yeah, I'm not terribly surprised. I thought this first 5 minutes you'd know if UConn is coming in and ready to attack. This is a good, scrappy Seton Hall team.
There's Nelson Adota from the foul line. That one is
That shot
out.
was sort of like an afterthought, right? You see all the white jerseys standing around, and then Nelson Adota just shot it. It didn't come within the flow of the offense.
Elmore again. Got it.
Yeah, she's got some confidence early on. Nelson Adota, she's given her the outside shot. Doesn't want her to drive.
So a 7-point run, and you see the shooting is not very good from UConn's side to start this game. Kristen Williams with a nice drive, but threw it over the top of everything.
It was a nice drive. The lefty just couldn't finish a left-handed layup.
And that will go out of bounds off of Seton Hall.
Yeah, and speaking of lefty, Elmore catches the ball just right at the elbow. It's like a foul shot.
The senior from Hartford has had double-figure scoring in all but one game this year. And UConn looking to see if they can get something in the bucket here. Nika Mule, no.
I mean, a lot of the shots, Becker's first shot was a brick. That shot by Mule was a brick.
Smith, rebounded by Beckers. Beckers tried to feed to a well-covered Nelson Adoto.
That ball had to be a little bit higher.
Smith feeds outside. Jackson will swing it around and reset. Here's Espinoza Hunter. Elmore tried to roll. Pass was deflected by Nelson Adoto. Huskies run. Mule to Beckers for a bucket.
Perfect pass from Mule. Gave it to Beckers exactly where she needed it.
She's got that no-look pass thing down. See the Huskies making the most of the few Hall turnovers so far. Here's Elmore, feeds it outside, Espinoza Hunter. Yes.
You know, she's such a good three-point shooter, and Gino's yelling at Nika Mule, you can't leave her that open. She was waving her hand, telling her teammates she's open.
Quickly halfway through quarter number 1 here in Stores. Nelson Adoto will take that one and make it.
I mean, she's been at that spot every possession, it seems, except for the one time she scored down below.
Smith blocked by Westbrook. Blocked again by Nelson Adoto. Here's Elmore over everybody and in.
And as Tony Bozzella told us earlier today, they need to make shots. And to Seton Hall's credit, they came into Gampo Pavilion shooting the ball very well right now.
5 of their last 6 they have made, the Pirates. Mule off the Nelson Adoto screen. No.
There's just no movement for UConn offensively.
And no white jerseys anywhere near a rebound. Hand on the ball by Nelson Adoto. Elmore gets it back. Too strong. Rebound, though, into the hands of Jackson. They'll reset. Here's Park Lane. Drives around Kristen Williams. Couldn't get the shot to fall. Mule to Beckers. She will draw contact from Maya Jackson, which brings us to a timeout. Can't ask for it to start any better for Seton Hall. They have an 8-point lead halfway through quarter 1. Be sure to tag your photos on social media tonight with the hashtag #BleedBlue. Even though you can't be in the stands this season, we want to see UConn Nation cheering on the Huskies tonight. 3.5 to go, quarter number 1. UConn trailing by 8 points, only shooting 3 of 10 at this point in the game. Now, in the December 15th game at Seton Hall, the first 5 minutes of the game were slow too, but after that first quarter media timeout, Huskies went on a 13-2 run to take control of the game. Let's see what they can do here.
This team has a tendency of starting slow. I think Seton Hall's got a little something to do with it.
Yep. Kristen Williams. Cut off, double team. 10 to shoot for UConn. Beckers inside to Nelson Adoto, has it knocked away. Jasmine Smith will throw it right to Paige Beckers. Saw it coming. Feeds Westbrook. Too much. Stepped on the line. Out of bounds. Turnover, UConn.
Yeah, Beckers goes over and gives her 5. Saying, sorry about that. They just look a little bit out of sync here tonight, which,
yeah,
as we indicated earlier, not terribly surprising after that big emotional win just 2 days ago here against South Carolina.
That's Smith. No, ball knocked away by one of the Huskies right to Elmore. Elmore. No for her. It's going to be a foul underneath. Smith over the back of Westbrook. And that will be on the senior from Houston, Texas.
You watch there in that corner. Pretty good box out. Avina Westbrook didn't actually create that contact, but the officials saw that blue jersey pushing a little too much.
Beckers. That was cruel. Desiree Elmore leading everyone in the game so far with 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. There's a rebound for Beckers on the miss by Seton Hall. Foul called on the floor.
Elmore just a little too physical down low, and Nelson Adoto was calling for the ball because she was open. She wanted it.
So Olivia Nelson-Ododa will go to the bench, and Aaliyah Edwards will enter into the ball game. We'll also see Aubrey Griffin, but not till the next whistle. Over 2.5 minutes since the Huskies have scored. Westbrook gets that.
Nice aggressive take by Westbrook. You know, you wonder why at the minute 53 mark is that the first time you saw UConn really attacking the lane.
Elmore drives on Edwards, throws it up.
Wow.
That's when you know it's your night.
That's Ray Elmore.
Mule's got to watch that left arm push off.
Oh, we saw the head snap there from Park Lane. So Edwards all the way outside the three-point arc.
They're just daring her to shoot.
Sets the screen for Beckers to shoot. No. Edwards is going to get called. He's going to be on, no, it's going to be on Elmore.
Wow.
Doing the little backup shuffle.
Well, you know, as a former post player, that's frustrating, and I feel for Elmore because you get inside position, you're working hard to box out. I've always disliked that call. So
Watch.
she gets a body on her, right? And she's boxing.
Got the arm hooked around, too.
Yeah. Nine times out of 10, that's an over-the-back call.
So the hot-handed scoring for the Pirates goes to the bench. Aubrey Griffin makes an immediate impact in the game.
As she often does. Terrific cut. Nice pass on the inbounds from Beckers.
Espinoza Hunter, no. Kristen Williams with the rebound. So it's Evita Westbrook to the bench for UConn, and Griffin into the game for her.
Yeah, Griffin got caught camping. 3-second call.
And so a turnover by UConn. Of course, Aubrey Griffin with such close family ties to Seton Hall, both her parents' alma mater.
Both outstanding athletes in their own right.
They're going to have a big game tonight. She's made an impact for this team a lot lately. Kristen Williams picked off by a screen. Maya Jackson with the ball. Here's Park Lane. 10 on the shot clock. Drives, floats it. No. Mule with the rebound. 25 seconds to go in quarter number 1. Griffin, no. Tipped right to Park Lane. Got a runner out ahead. Too far for Jackson. Stepped on the end line. Turnover to UConn. So Nelson-Ododa back into the ball game. Nika Mule will come out for these final 14.2 seconds.
And something tells me Paige Beckers will be taking this last shot.
Hope they
She's
realize
calling for
there's
the
only 3
screen.
seconds left.
No one gave her a screen. She was calling for it.
And I believe that was called for traveling.
Yeah, she got called for travel. You hear Gina say, who set the ball screen? She was calling for you.
Yeah. Well, slow start. Huskies trail after the first quarter for the second time this week. Seton Hall up 6. Ready for the start of the second quarter here at Gamble Pavilion. Seton Hall leading UConn by 6. And Colmo's Court Vision is brought to you by Yale New Haven Health.
Well, you know, as the clock is winding down, Paige Beckers gets the ball over way out here, right? Okay, here's Paige, and she's calling for someone to set the screen. I'm thinking it's supposed to be Aaliyah. She's the closest post player, or anybody. Come set that screen. And you could see the clock there. It's under 5 seconds now, and so Paige says, I got to do something. And then she ends up getting called for the walk. I mean, I just don't understand mentally where they are. I mean, so many screens were set Monday night. I mean, you know that this is what has to happen.
Block there on the great play from Elmore into Jackson to start this second quarter. Beckers, Edwards, Nelson-Ododa, Williams, and Griffin, the 5 on the floor for UConn. Travel.
So they're gonna, you know, okay, so offense is a big struggle. So you got to find another way. You know, create some offense off of your defense, get some steals, score in transition.
Espinoza Hunter got away from everybody.
Terrific cut by Espinoza Hunter, and what a pass from Elmore.
So an 8-point Seton Hall lead here early in this second quarter. Nelson Adota sets a screen for Kristen Williams. That's blocked. That was Elmore, who is back in the game, by the way, to start the second quarter with 2 fouls.
Well, Tony Bozzella realizes, you know, that they need her on the floor. She's a senior. You know, she's just got to be smart and not pick up 3.
It's going to be knocked out of bounds off of UConn.
You know, something that we're used to seeing UConn do. Seton Hall, nice back cut. Hey, maybe that's the former UConn player there, Espinoza Hunter, giving UConn a taste of their own medicine. She said, I learned a little bit of this from you guys years ago.
Park Lane into traffic, dishes outside. That's Elmore. No. So UConn shooting only 31% in the game, 0 for 4 from 3. Griffin feeds Edwards. No, they call a travel. All right, tonight's poll question presented by Yale New Haven Health has to do with numbers hanging from the rafters. Which former Husky should be the next to have their number retired? Go to sny.tv/votegame to cast your vote.
Very good question.
It is, isn't it? I tried to get him to put Meg on there.
Yeah. This is a realistic situation.
There's Park Lane for 3. There's the 5 on the floor for UConn. And that finally goes. Breaking a pretty good dry spell for the Huskies.
And now UConn just has to clamp down and play defense. Let's see if Seton Hall can continue to execute and get the shots they want.
Elmore with that left spin that goes short of everything and lands out of bounds.
You can see the screen coming up here through the leg. Okay, a little movement there. A little bit of movement from the screen, but I would always prefer the officials call less than call more.
Yeah, it got a little rough on Monday night at times, didn't it? A lot of fouls.
It's a physical game.
Yeah. All right, let's see if Beckers can get another one here. Yes. So 2 in a row for the Huskies from Paige Beckers.
Another steal here from Aubrey Griffin. So good at the top of the press.
Edwards, take it strong. Yes.
Really good take there by Edwards.
Aubrey Griffin altered Park Lane's intention to shoot. Nelson Adota tried to save the ball, but got off balance and stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, unfortunately, the ball was going off of Seton Hall.
Yeah, she obviously had to be unsure of that to go for it. You know, maybe. All right, fresh 30-second shot clock for Seton Hall. There's Elmore. Over Nelson Adota. Rebound Westbrook. Huskies have cut the deficit to 5.
Nelson Adota was calling for the ball in that low post. I like the aggressiveness.
Trying to post up Elmore, who's got those 2 fouls. Beckers sets a play, gets the screen from Edwards. Drives between players. Rebound Edwards. No.
I thought she was fouled. Yeah, I thought she was fouled. I heard the slap on the arm up here.
Yeah. Espinoza Hunter, no. Aubrey Griffin skies for the rebound. So a chance here for the Huskies to tie the game if they shoot from outside. 6-0 UConn run over these last 2 minutes. 10 to shoot. Westbrook, strong move.
Great post up by Westbrook, recognizing the 5'6" Park Lane is guarding her.
Jackson with the big floater and got that to go. Maya Jackson. And timeout, Seton Hall. So the 0 for run for the Pirates is stopped by Jackson for UConn. They've made 4 of their last 4 shots after a rather chilly shooting first quarter.
Okay, let's take a look at that last play. Olivia Nilsson-Adota, right? And then just coming into frame there is Avina Westbrook. Check out those two players. You're going to see Beckers will pass the ball to Nilsson-Adota. Now, look, she goes down here, Westbrook, because she knows she's got 5'7" Maya Jackson guarding her. I love the way she posts up. Here she is, right? Noticing that her defender is much smaller and then just aggressively turns strong and kisses it off the glass. Great play by the junior.
So Avina Westbrook, 4 points, 2 of 2 from the floor tonight. Huskies now have already scored in this second quarter as many points as they scored in all of quarter number 1. 3-point Seton Hall lead, though. Edwards posts up, pass goes through her hands.
Got to catch the ball before you turn.
10 Maya Bembry in there defending Edwards for Seton Hall. And so here is Lauren Park Lane. 1 of 5 from the floor in this game versus the torrid shooting pace she had in the game in December. Calling for a screen. Smith. Rebound, Westbrook. End to end. That was cruel. Rounded out, but Aaliyah Edwards with the tip. Huskies get a reset.
That was a nice aggressive take by Westbrook.
Shot clock running down. They'll call a travel on.
Yeah, she did walk. It's amazing how many walk calls have been called tonight already. We've seen it in spurts this season.
It's been the flavor of the year.
Besides COVID.
Yeah, well, that too. I was trying to keep it positive, you know? What do we got? That is going to be a turnover by, oh, it's a 5-second call. Turnover by the Pirates. Coach Bozzella.
He's hilarious.
Great guy to talk to. Really engaging. Aaliyah Edwards, speaking of 5 seconds, move the ball. There you go. There's Beckers over the top of Park Lane. Aubrey Griffin and Edwards both crash for rebounds.
Nice job by Edwards to just find a way to find the ball and put it in. Some nights it's really difficult on the offensive end.
The entire Seton Hall bench jumped and screamed at the same time. Griffin on the floor. Westbrook on the run. Got it.
I mean, that was all because of the aggressiveness of Aubrey Griffin diving on the floor.
Huskies take the lead. Park Lane defended by Griffin. Runs into the traffic, gets her own rebound. And they'll get another shot at it. This is Maya Bembry. Shot clock running out. Throws up and gets some rim. But off the mark with the shot, and Aubrey Griffin with the rebound. 14-2 run for UConn over the last 4 minutes. Nika Mule. Aubrey Griffin crashing again for another rebound, but out of bounds off of UConn.
How about this? Diving on the floor. Wanted the ball more than anybody else. And that made it possible for Westbrook to get the breakaway layup. And Gino just took out Paige Beckers because he's a little bit frustrated with her right now. I think she's frustrated. She didn't shoot that last possession, and I understand why she didn't. I think she's a little frustrated offensively with herself. They're all a little stagnant. She's missed some shots, but he doesn't want her to stop shooting.
Page 3 of 8 in the game, 0 for 2 from outside. Here's Espinoza-Hunter. Now Smith working on Westbrook. Edwards comes over to help, but Smith got the shot up. Mule just out of control. Too fast, too soon. Westbrook will knock that away from Smith and out of bounds off of UConn. Gary Apple and Kara Walters have the first half highlights and analysis coming up shortly on the UConn Women's Basketball Halftime Show presented by Ford. 1 point Seton Hall lead. What surprises you most about this game so far, Meg?
I just think UConn's stagnant offense, but as Espinoza-Hunter makes a really nice spin move, you have to give Seton Hall credit. They're second place in the league. They're a scrappy defensive team. They're incredibly well coached. And they're a very different ball club than the one UConn saw back in December.
Edwards tried to kick to Williams. The pass was too wide for her to reach.
Well, what a teammate Kristen Williams is, getting the ball underneath the bleachers for the officials. That's doing the extra mile.
All right, 3 point Seton Hall lead. Nelson Adota heading for the table to check back in. Minute and a half to go. Shot from outside, too strong from Elmore. Griffin with the rebound. Aubrey, 3 rebounds. And a 4th. And a putback.
Nice again, Aubrey Griffin. Just making things happen, impacting the game. Offensive rebound and putback.
There's Amari Wright. Kicks it out to Maya Jackson. Kristen Williams defending there. Espinoza-Hunter too strong to the rim. Foul underneath. Aubrey Griffin called for it as Elmore hit the floor hard.
Oh, wow, she pushed her hard.
Almost looked like she tripped coming into the traffic.
I thought Avina Westbrook came in there looking to get the ball, a little extra contact.
Handed right to Nika Mule. Pass behind Westbrook. Kristen Williams there on the floor.
You just can't get too fancy, Yeah. 1 on 2, and then you try to throw a no-look pass, and it goes right to the other team.
So Paige Beckers comes to the table to check back into the ball game. It'll be Mule that will come out. Des Elmore will come out for Seton Hall after that hard spill she took a minute ago. Aubrey Griffin in traffic, could not get the shot to go. Half a minute to go in this first half.
Aubrey Griffin is pretty quick, but to watch Park Lane dribble right past her, I've seen it happen a couple times. It just shows you how exponentially quick Park Lane is.
Yeah, she will move. And for one of the smaller players on the court, if not the smallest, she goes fast to the rim like that. Knocked away. And Beckers will touch the sideline, the end line, trying to get the ball. And it'll be Seton Hall's ball with 1 second to shoot.
And she comes up grimacing. Not sure why.
Knocked away by Kristen Williams. And that'll be a shot clock violation. And UConn will have the ball with 6.3 seconds to go in this first half, trailing by 1.
Let's see if they run a better play than they did at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah. Beckers off the Nelson Adota screen, throws one up. No. And that will be how quarter number 2 will end. With a weary-looking Paige Beckers leading the Huskies toward the locker room. So UConn shooting 42% and Seton Hall 35%. But in the end, the Pirates come away with a 1-point lead. Des Elmore leading the way for the Pirates in the ballgame with 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. And Espinoza-Hunter, the second leading scorer in the game with 7 points in this first half.
Gino, the second game in a row where offensively it looks a little bit to be a struggle. Is Seton Hall doing something defensively to make it more challenging for you guys on the offensive end?
I think a lot of their switches are giving us a problem right now, but we look like a step slow. I don't know whether we're tired or but we look slow and sluggish. And I mean, even defensively, we didn't do a half decent job. Well, we didn't do a bad job, but our offense just looks really disjointed right now. We're either playing too slow or we're playing too fast. So we have to find some sort of common ground there where we can get some rhythm to our offense.
I thought Aubrey came in and changed the game and did some good things for you offensively and defensively. She did.
And, she hustles. She works really, really hard. And, that's what we need right now. Sometimes you just got to, you got to win these games sometimes in some other way. And right now we're going to have to find a different way.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Our halftime interview with Gino Auriemma, presented by P.C. Richard & Son. Last time UConn was down at halftime against an unranked team was playing USF a season ago. They trail Seton Hall by 1 here at Gamble, the halftime show. Coming up next.
We are back inside Studio 31, the UConn Women's Halftime Report. It's brought to you by our local Ford stores. I'm Gary Apple, back alongside Kara Walters. UConn has won 223 consecutive games against non-ranked opponents, but they are down at the half here to Seton Hall, 27-26 at the break. We heard Gino say it was really an uneven first half for the Huskies. What did you take out of it, Kara?
Ugly.
Yes,
ugly,
it was. It was ugly.
Slow start. This can happen after a big game,
yep.
and it happened. UConn with the slow start. Paige Beckers off to a slow start. A lot of turnovers, 13 turnovers, which is uncharacteristic for them early on. So they just didn't take care of the basketball. They were sloppy. They were stagnant in their offensive game. Like Gino said, they couldn't handle the switches. Seton Hall, give them credit. They're moving all around. But when they do handle the switches, they're finding people in the post, right? They're having little people guarding big people. So I thought some things turned around for them when they started to get the ball into the post instead of settling for shots. If you're not making shots, go to the inside, work your game through the post, go there and then work out. Missing a lot of shots, but days like that happen and you have to grind through it.
Maybe a little bit of a carryover, right? A little bit of a malaise after that big win against South Carolina. So how does UConn get back into this game down the stretch? We'll take a look at that. Our halftime show rolls on here in just a moment. Again, UConn trailed by as many as 11 in that first half. They're down by 1 at the break. We're back in a moment. It's Gary Apple back alongside Kara Walters inside Studio 31. First half stats are presented by our local Ford stores, and UConn shooting it at just 41% in that first half. But take a look at the fact that they have not made a three in the game so far. They're 0 for 7 from downtown. And again, they've turned the basketball over 13 times. One of the big reasons they are down at the half. 27-26. We'll look at how they can get back into this game in the second half when we come back in a moment. Here we go. First half category leaders presented by your local Ford stores. Paige Beckers has 6 points in the game. Turnovers have been a very big issue, but UConn down by 11 at one point in that second quarter, cut the lead to 1 at the half. How do they continue to get going on an upward trajectory, Kara, in that second half?
Well, good shooters have short memories, right? So he wants Paige Beckers to keep shooting, even though she's not having a great shooting night right now. Also, again, get the ball into the post. I think good things happen. We saw Edwards 3 for 4 from the field. Just get it down low, pound it down. You saw Avina Westbrook on those switches. Gino talked about they're having a hard time. Seton Hall switching everything. But when that happens, oftentimes you get mismatches. And one time Avina took advantage of that. Aubrey took advantage of that, of the mismatches. So start inside.
The game does change when Aubrey Griffin comes in. She's got huge energy that she provides. So Kara and I go to see you back on the post-game show. Second half action, UConn at Seton Hall after a quick break.
Teams back on the floor inside Gamble Pavilion with Seton Hall leading UConn by 1 point as we get ready to start this third quarter with Megan Como. I'm Alan Bestwick. We heard from Gino just before he went to the locker room to try and fix some of the issues from that first half with his team. As you digested what he said over these last 10 minutes or so, what stood out to you the most?
Well, first off, I'm thinking, gosh, UConn holds Seton Hall to 27 points at halftime. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And they're down.
Yeah.
You know, he talked about Seton Hall and the way they switched defensively. That gave a lot of the young kids some fits. And so I think a lot of what they talked about in the locker room is how they're going to manage and adjust and how they're going to get Paige Beckers more involved offensively. You see what she did over the course of those last 5 games. And tonight it's a very different story. She was 0 for 3 from three-point range. The team 0 for 7 in that first 20 minutes. A very stagnant offense.
No points from Kristen Williams or Nika Mule in that first half. And the three-point shooting tonight for the Huskies has been kind of the continuation of a trend from Monday night. So here we go, Pirates with the ball to start this second half. Espinoza Hunter rattles around and out. Westbrook sets the offense.
The screeners will be open. If defenses are switching, the screeners will be open.
Nelson Adota with the kick.
Already,
down to 5.
Already their offense looks better. Walk.
Travel on Griffin.
But already their offense had a purpose. They were setting screens. It's almost like, okay, let's run some plays now, instead of just reading the defense and doing some of their sets. It looked a little bit more deliberate, and it seemed more effective until the walk call.
Here's Desiree Elmore, who had such a phenomenal first half. Espinoza Hunter, no, missed everything. Something Seton Hall did really well at the opening parts of the ball game was hit their shots. Gave themselves some belief. We'll see how that starts in this second half. Nelson Adota set the screen. Kristen Williams off the Griffin screen. No, nobody there for the rebound for UConn.
She came over that screen beautifully. Just couldn't get it to drop.
Elmore over the top of Nelson Adota.
That's how she can alter shots. That long arch, what is it, a long?
Long reach.
Outstretched arm, that's what it is.
There's Beckers. Nice pass from Westbrook.
Beckers so good, going to her left and pulling up.
Park Lane. Now Espinoza Hunter. Sets the screen for Park Lane. Elmore sets one as well. Park Lane for 3. No.
Seton Hall is imploring the officials, saying the ball was tipped.
Pirates seem to believe it was, but Jeffrey Smith says no. And so the Huskies have a chance to add on to their 1-point lead. That's the largest lead UConn's had all night. 1 point. They trailed by as much as 11 in that first half. Nelson Adota. Kick out. Beckers. Good coverage there by Jackson. Here's Westbrook from the corner. Long rebound. Seton Hall will come up with it. Jackson. Yes. That's a 3.
Yeah, to make threes like that on the break, that's what Seton Hall needs to do.
Westbrook to Nelson Adota. Yes, put it up and in.
What a pass from Avina Westbrook.
Solid game from Avina Westbrook tonight. Steal by Westbrook. To Nelson Adota running the floor and gets it, and a foul.
Strong take by Nelson Adota. Nice job running the floor. And another good pass from Westbrook to find her, avoid the turnover. And then got fouled pretty hard. Just a little slap on the arm.
So Elmore will go out of the game. And the first free throw of the ball game will happen here from Olivia Nelson-Ododa in this third quarter.
That's crazy that it's the first free throw.
I know, huh? I hitched on that because I checked it 3 times and I still wanted to check it again before I said it. Bembry cut off. Here's Smith. Now Park Lane, 10 to shoot for the Pirates.
UConn switching guard to guard as well.
And Park Lane will draw contact trying to split players and will shoot free throws. They'll call the foul on Nelson-Ododa.
And Nelson-Ododa tapped her chest saying, that's my fault. I mean, I know she's quick, but, you know, if you're on that back line, you got to step in. Williams was a little bit late. And she's, listen, it's not easy. Park Lane at 5'6" is so incredibly quick, particularly with the ball. But when you're on that back line, you have to see it coming.
Sophomore from Wilmington, Delaware, second in the Big East and 29th in the nation in assists per game. And still averaging almost 18 points a game for Seton Hall while doing all that assisting. Both the free throws good there. 1-point ball game. Beckers with the kick to Williams. No. Well, it's fair to say Kristen Williams is struggling with the shot from outside.
Yeah, this is when it gets in your head. You know, wide open 3 from the wing, and you don't even hit iron. But that's, you know, she's a junior, and you just got to be mentally tough and figure out another way to help your team.
Park Lane now guarded by Beckers. 10 to shoot. Bembry on Nelson-Ododa.
Nice job staying on your feet, Nelson-Ododa.
There's Jackson driving. Over the top of Aubrey Griffin.
How about that take from Jackson? Outstanding.
Lead back to the Pirates by 1. Pass for Nelson-Ododa, errant from Westbrook. Turnover, UConn.
She knows it.
Park Lane, guarded by Westbrook. Tries to go in on Nelson-Ododa again. Espinoza Hunter with the shot from outside. No, rebound right to Westbrook.
I thought for sure that was down.
Kristen Williams on the run. No, and that's going to be out of bounds off Aubrey Griffin.
And Kristen Williams looks at the official like, seriously? I didn't get fouled? I thought this would have been a good way for her to get back. That's a nice block from behind from Espinoza Hunter. It looked like she got all ball.
So another turnover for UConn. Elmore back into the game, shoots from way outside. No, it's Griffin with the rebound. It's already 5 rebounds for Aubrey Griffin in this game, to go with 4 assists. Williams off the screen. Cut off. Griffin into Nelson-Ododa. What an offensive foul in the lane. That's going to be on Nelson-Ododa and gets us to a timeout halfway through this third quarter. 1 point Seton Hall lead at Gamble. One point Seton Hall lead here at Gamble Pavilion. UConn riding a streak of 223 straight wins over unranked opponents. Their last loss to an unranked opponent back in 2012. But Seton Hall, tied with DePaul for second place in the Big East coming into tonight, has had answers for everything UConn has tried so far. And Tony Bozzella's team feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing well. They're confident. And, you know, the difference is, and he told us this, Andra Espinoza Hunter right there, she has completely changed this team. Like, she She has unified them. She's a great leader. And they're playing incredible basketball right now.
Aubrey Griffin again.
Speaking of incredible.
Yeah. Nika Mule back into the ball game for UConn. Kristen Williams on the bench. Beckers off the Nelson Adota screen. Shot too strong, but Nelson Adota picks up the rebound.
Still a lot of standing around.
Beckers drives, dishes. Nelson Adota scores.
Nice pass.
Espinoza Hunter over Aubrey Griffin for three.
You got to watch her at all times. She's a dangerous three-point shooter.
Something we haven't said a lot this year, but has been said a lot the last two games. Back and forth we go. There's Nelson Adota. Got that one.
That's a better shot for Nelson Adota.
Double figures for Olivia. Gets the steal there on the bad pass from Park Lane.
That's a rare turnover for Park Lane in that situation.
Mule.
Say, that's a gutsy shot for a kid who really struggled in the first half. Didn't start in the second half.
That is the first made three of the night for the Huskies.
That shows you the toughness of Nika Mule. She always believes she's gonna score.
Park Lane works the Elmore screen, tried to feed it back inside. Nicely cut off. That'll be a steps taken on Jasmine Smith.
I actually thought Park Lane walked in the lane when she passed that ball out to Smith on the wing.
Timeout, Seton Hall. As UConn takes a 3-point lead, which, if you're just tuning in, is their biggest of the night over Seton Hall. UConn with 3 of their last 3 shots, counting for points, eking out a 3-point advantage over Seton Hall in this third quarter.
Well, and they haven't gotten the ball into the lane too much. Watch here. Watch Nelson Adota over there. I'd like her to come in there with a little bit of a bigger presence, but the nice find by Paige Beckers. And there you see Nelson Adota sets up this a screen and then passes it right back to her. Foul line jumper. That's a much better shot than the 15, 16-footer just standing around in the beginning of the offense.
And suddenly, Olivia Nelson Adota is the leading scorer in the ballgame. 6 of 8 from the floor, 13 points, 5 rebounds.
And something that we haven't talked about enough is the outstanding passer that she has turned into. She had 7 assists Friday night at Marquette.
Yeah, good decisions with the ball. Gino was praising that in the last couple of games for Nelson Adota. Nelson Adota, Beckers, Griffin, Westbrook, and Mule on the floor for the Huskies. Griffin draws contact from Espinoza Hunter.
Terrific move there by Griffin, but what also helped is when Nelson Adota passed her the ball, she dove through the lane. See right here, cut down the middle of the lane. Don't just stand there. It makes it too easy on the defense if you stand there and don't move.
So Aubrey Griffin, who had a period of this season where I guess it's fair to say she started very slowly in this season, has been in double figures scoring 5 of the last 8 games, and has been a real presence, except obviously the 2 that she missed injured.
Yeah, she brings an energy off the bench, and I remember last year she had a spectacular game against Seton Hall. She played well down there in December, and she's doing what her team needs her to do here tonight to change the game.
Here's Elmore on Nelson Adota. Nice step away, but the shot off the rim. 5-point UConn lead. Beckers, yes, for 3.
You heard Jamel Elliott scream one time.
Yeah, loud and clear. So the Husky lead grows as Beckers now up to 11 points in this one. There's Park Lane, way off the mark. Straight out of bounds, taps herself on the chest, says, my bad. And a Seton Hall turnover.
A breakdown defensively, which we haven't seen a lot for Seton Hall, but a nice screen from Griffin. Paige Beckers wide open to knock down that 3, her first of the game.
First from outside. 5 of 12 from the floor overall for Beckers. Mule. Westbrook draws a double team. What a move between players.
Smart step through by Westbrook. What a savvy move by the guard.
10-point Husky lead. Here's Jackson for 3.
Yeah, make that 7.
Maya Jackson having a solid night for Seton Hall. That makes her their leading scorer in the ballgame. Nelson Adota from the free throw line. No.
See, that's the shot that I don't think is the most effective shot for their offense and for Nelson Adota.
Espinoza Hunter to Jackson. Unguarded. Nika Mule tries to get the rebound. Griffin ends up with it. Beckers splits players and 1.
Smart, aggressive take by the freshman to the hoop. Drawing the foul. I mean, it's just really good court vision and awareness. Just split the defenders. Nobody was stopping the ball. See, she knew it. She's like, you know what? No one's stopping me. I'm just taking it in.
Beckers can't add the extra. So it'll be a 9-point lead for UConn. Huskies making 6 of their last 7 shots. Bembry to Espinoza Hunter for 3.
Breakdown defensively by UConn. You cannot leave Espinoza Hunter open. See what happens on this last shot. 3 quarters in a row for UConn. Let's see if they can execute.
Beckers backs out. Off the Nelson Adota screen, got in trouble, got it back, shot short, and Griffin can't save it as time expires in the quarter number 3. Now, Abina Westbrook, after struggling to put the ball in the basket in the last couple of games, 3 of 4 from the floor tonight, determined to get to the rim on that one. Welcome back to Gamble. Our poll question tonight presented by Yale New Haven Health. We wanted your opinion on which former Husky should be the next to have their number retired. Survey says Sue Bird.
Sue Bird at 54. Diana Taurasi at 31. My girl Carrie Bassam getting no love with 6%.
You could have voted. Here's the game reset presented by Town Fair Tire as we start this 4th quarter here at Gamble. Huskies trailing after 1. Trailing at halftime, now lead at the end of 3. Andra Espinoza Hunter in her return to Gamble with double-figure scoring for the Pirates. Paige Beckers with 13 along with Olivia Nelson Adota for UConn. And we start the 4th with the Huskies leading by 6. And be impressed with the energy of the Pirates defense.
Yeah, they look,
you
know, Seton Hall looks terrific, energized. UConn looks like they're in a fog.
Becker stumbles, saves, shot clock running out. Griffin drives, and it just falls short.
It got stuck in her hand, and she shot it off the heel of her hand.
Espinoza Hunter from way outside, shot off the mark, and Westbrook will come away with it for UConn. Abina Westbrook in the last 3 games was 3 of 19 from the floor. There's the feed to Beckers. That's in the bucket. And Westbrook leaving her mark all over this game tonight. Aaliyah Edwards up to check into the ball game for UConn. Here's Park Lane. Bembry. Jackson drives on Beckers. Shot is no good.
Really good defensive set there for UConn. Communicated well, switched.
Beckers for 3.
You know, they've had a little bit more energy the last 2 offensive possessions. Prior to that, it was that fog.
Lane, back iron. Nelson Adota with the rebound. And the other thing, Meg, they're making some shots.
Well, that makes everything look better.
Griffin does not make that shot. Rebound for Seton Hall for Bembry. Espinoza Hunter off the screen.
It's a chance. You're taking a chance going behind the screen when Espinoza comes off the top of the screen, but UConn didn't suffer.
Timeout called by UConn with 8 minutes to go in this ball game. Huskies lead by 11. Matching their largest lead of the night, Paige Beckers has gotten it going. She's up to 18 points, now with a couple of three-pointers on the books. 2 minutes into this fourth quarter, and Avina Westbrook, I mentioned a minute ago, but we'll show you more here, has left her imprint all over this game, Meg.
Yeah, I mean, I love how she cuts, turns the corner, goes in there, creates something in the lane. Here, the post up in the first half. Great hustle by Aubrey Griffin. And Westbrook finishes on the break. You're splitting the defenders in the low post. She's finding lots of different ways to score and be effective and impact this game. And that's what you need your leadership to do.
Look at that, 8 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists for Avina Westbrook in this game tonight.
And she didn't play a ton against South Carolina. Her back was bothering her. She didn't play a lot of minutes. And she's making up for it here tonight.
Aaliyah Edwards into the game. Aubrey Griffin out. Here's Westbrook. No.
Gotta use the
rebound.
glass there.
Nelson Adota.
Westbrook's got to use the glass from that position, but what a great offensive rebound and putback by Nelson Adota. Use your height against a team that's a lot smaller than you.
We're going to call a foul there on Aaliyah Edwards.
Now watch Nelson Adota, right? Nobody near her, no one boxing her out. Nice quick touch with the hands to just shoot the ball immediately.
The first foul on Aaliyah Edwards. Seton Hall yet to score in this fourth quarter. Espinoza Hunter guarded by Beckers. Jackson. Elmore. And now Park Lane. 5 to shoot. Drives, floats.
It's funny, the tides have turned. Now Seton Hall standing around a little bit on offense.
Nelson Adota using her length to get that rebound and gather it in. Beckers back to Nelson Adota. Into Edwards. And got it.
What a big presence Aaliyah Edwards is down low. Again, especially against an undersized Seton Hall team.
That's 8 for Aaliyah. Elmore. First points.
Tough finish by Elmore.
Yep.
Showing her strength.
But got her team on the scoreboard after they were 0 for 5. That'll go through Aaliyah Edwards' hands and out of bounds off the Huskies.
So that high-low combination is such a good one for UConn historically. Here you see Edwards, right? Nelson Adota. Nice pass away from the defense. Good use of the left hand.
Elmore drives. No.
And she looked at the ref, wanting a foul call.
Yeah, I think Tony Vizzello wanted one too. The way he popped
there
up
was
off
a little
that chair.
contact. There was a little bump.
Westbrook. Nelson Adota with the rebound, and the Huskies will get a reset. Beckers with 2 on the shot clock. No, Edwards with the rebound, fouled on the way back up. That'll be on Espinoza Hunter.
So that was an interesting play, right? And see, if that pass to Beckers was a better pass from the corner from Mule, she would have been able to shoot the ball. But because it was a little bit above her head, it gave the defense a chance to recover. I mean, it's a game of split seconds.
So Aaliyah Edwards, 5th on the Husky roster in scoring, who is shooting 71% from the floor in the last 5 games for UConn.
You know, because she's taking the shots that she's supposed to take.
Nelson Adota with a rebound off the miss.
And they're all around the rim, right? Within 5-6 feet. She takes a couple long-range shots, but most of them are around the hoop. Shot
clock down to 6. Now Nelson Adota on the screen for Beckers. Mule didn't realize time was running out. Shot clock violation, UConn.
Well, when you have a lot of freshmen on the floor, you know, that's a freshman play right there. For Nico Mule to not have any understanding of where the shot clock was, that's what happens.
Kristen Williams up to check back into the ball game for UConn. Park Lane will draw contact. And that will be on Mule. And she will exit the ball game in favor of Kristen Williams.
And she knows to not even look at him as she walks by him.
Second team foul on UConn.
14-point Husky lead. Here's Elmore working on Nelson Adota. Kicks to Jackson. That was blocked a little bit, I think, by Edwards, maybe?
I think it was just altered.
Ball off of Elmore's own feet, and a turnover by the Pirates.
That's a turnover the Pirates can't afford to have against UConn.
Under 5 minutes to go, quarter number 4.
Yeah, Aaliyah's got to be a threat to score there. You got to at least dribble, and maybe not shoot, but dribble up and be a threat, draw the defense, and then kick it.
Westbrook draws a foul on Park Lane underneath on the rebound.
Now look, she's so open, you know, instead of just settling for that jumper, which she can make, dribble in, make the defense guard, and then kick it. You saw number 3 there, Park Lane, with the foul.
Beckers for 3. And that puts Page over 20 points on the night again. Park Lane between players, kicks. Kristen Williams, good active defense. Cut off Jackson. 10 to shoot. Espinoza Hunter over Edwards. Got it. What a tough shot. Good
really tough shot over the taller Edwards.
Timeout. Seton Hall. Andra Espinoza Hunter certainly not feeling any kind of nerves on her return to Gamble Pavilion, as someone who scores 21 a game for the Pirates is their leading scorer in this game tonight. And we check the upcoming schedule presented by Toyota. So Huskies off to Georgetown on Friday night. That one nationally televised. And then we don't see Gamble Pavilion again until the last game of the season. So everything else in February is on the road. At St. John's, at Xavier, at Creighton, at Butler. And then the Huskies finish out the regular season here against Marquette. Currently scheduled.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Always have to say it in this this year. So UConn to inbound the ball. 15-point lead on Seton Hall. Kristen Williams looking to get on the board in this one.
Nice cut by Williams.
10 to shoot. Westbrook off the Nelson Adota screen with the make.
And that was really good defense by Seton Hall, but better patience by UConn to get the shot they wanted and to have patience.
Travel.
Yeah, they've had a couple of those that I thought hadn't been called tonight.
And when we were seeing the reaction shot of Avina Westbrook after the make, running back down the floor, see her calling out defensive help from her teammates. Westbrook into double figures. Nelson Adota with a double-double tonight, 15 and 12. Beckers with 21 and looking to add on.
Nice screen and roll.
Edwards with the rebound. Through the traffic.
Great offensive rebound by Edwards, and Nelson Adota did a really good job with everything, just couldn't get the ball to drop.
Jackson shot won't go. That'll be knocked out of bounds off of Bembry. And now they're going to talk about it.
You see, nice job by Nelson Adota to avoid the charge. Couldn't get it to fall. But such a physical presence. Aaliyah Edwards, so strong.
So Brian Burnett came in and offered Jeffrey Smith a different perspective, and they'll call the ball off UConn. And I think that's the right call. It'll end up with the Huskies anyway.
Smart play by Beckers.
2:15 to go.
Remaining 2 minutes.
10 seconds to shoot. Nelson Adota for 3. No. Contact underneath between Edwards and Espinoza.
Well, they were pushing on each other so hard, it was just a matter of who moved first. The other was going to fall.
And they'll call Kristen Williams on the reach on the foul. And a strong look at the Seton Hall bench from Jeffrey Smith. Whatever was said.
It's probably the only time Pizzella's happy that he's wearing a mask.
Yes, you know.
You can't really hear or see what I say.
Yeah. Park Lane blocked by Nelson Adota. Park Lane had 29 against the Huskies last time. She's got 5 now. Bembry cut off. Right to Park Lane. Shot clock running out. Heaves one up. Rebound goes to Jackson over Beckers.
Nice hustle there by Jackson. An aggressive finish.
Kristen Williams dribbles through the trap. Once and twice. Huskies will slow it down. 1 minute to go in this ball game. A game that UConn trailed after 1, trailed at halftime. They went up by 6 at the end of 3. And now Westbrook looking to add on. No. Aaliyah Edwards blocked by Espinoza Hunter. But the Huskies will back it out. Gary Apple and Kara Walters coming up for a full recap of tonight's game as Beckers goes for another bucket. Plus, we'll have Gino's post-game news conference on the UConn women's basketball post-game show coming up. Substitution timeout for changes. Seton Hall will have Maya Jackson come out of the game and Lauren Park Lane. And UConn also going to send some subs into the ball game. Mir McLean will come in for the first time tonight, and Kristen Williams will come out of the ball game. So tough night on the score sheet for Kristen Williams. And Westbrook with another steal. And the big steps to the bucket.
Right.
Nina Westbrook into double figures. Inbound pass thrown away. Huskies will have it and dribble out these final 15 seconds. So a turnaround from half 1 to half 2 for the Huskies. Brought a lot more energy, it felt like, onto the court. And while Seton Hall put up a game effort, UConn will run it to 224 straight wins over unranked opponents and continue their hold on first place in the Big East. 70-49, Huskies over the Pirates tonight here at Gamble.
I'll tell you, Pizzella does such a good job with Seton Hall. They gave UConn fits at times.
Now, UConn shooting just 33% from the floor in the first half, but 47% in the second half. And Paige Beckers with her 5th straight game with 20-plus points.
Hey, Gino, it must have been your halftime speech for you guys to come out in the third quarter and play, score your most points with 23, but it definitely looked a lot better energy in that second half.
Yeah, I don't know that it was anything I said. We just looked a little bit out of it, as I said. It's a lot of games in a short period of time, and no excuse though. I mean, Seton Hall played some really inspired basketball that first half. They ran their stuff really well. They played great defense the entire first half. They're not an easy team to guard. They have such quickness in the backcourt. But in the second half, You know, we did get a little more flow on offense. We did get a little more cohesiveness. You know, it's just going to be like this. You know, what can I say? There's going to be times when, you know, you look great like we did at Marquette, and there's going to be times when you look like we did tonight. And you just got to take the game and move on to the next thing.
Well, I thought a real positive in the second half was the play of Avina Westbrook. She played inspired.
Yeah, I thought Avina was really good. You know, and you know, when E is aggressive and attacking the basket, that's when she's at her best, you know. And you see the difference Aaliyah Edwards makes when she's in the game. You know, how many offensive rebounds we have a chance to get. How many putbacks we do get when she's in the game. So, you know, we just got to keep working at it and keep working at it. And, you know, right now, you know, we need some of our other guards to just make some more shots. You know, like Kristen's out there on an island by herself, it seems like. And, you know, at some point we're going to have to take care of that. But, you know, what can you do? All you can do is get some open shots and hope they go in.
Gino, in the second half alone, Olivia Nelson-Ododa had 11 points and 11 rebounds. Mm-hmm. How key was that for your team?
Oh, that was huge, you know, because, again, you know, we have a mismatch there. So we tried to get her closer to the basket. And, you know, they want to give her that 15-footer all day long. And that, you know, there's nothing wrong with Liv taking that. But, you know, I want us to try to get something before she gets that shot. And I thought she worked really, really hard at getting good position. And, you know, to get a double-double like that in the second half, maybe she just needed to get her second win.
Coach, thanks. Congratulations. Good luck Friday.
Thank you.
Gino Auriemma with us after his team trailed after quarter one, quarter two, but pulled away in the second half to score a 70-49 win over Seton Hall. Tonight's player of the game is presented by Cadillac. It is the aforementioned Olivia Nelson-Ododa. 15 was the final tally, along with 13, her fourth double-double of the season. And the Huskies come away with a 21-point win over Seton Hall. More to come. Take a drive. Our drive of the game is presented by Nissan. What do you think?
I mean, Aubrey Griffin she changed the game once again with her energy.
Avina Westbrook picking up the pass from Griffin after the good defensive play.
Hustle, diving on the floor. I love it.
Can I make the car pun here? Put her foot to the floor. Pulled away from the pack. And a phenomenal game for Avina Westbrook tonight. So, 21-point win for the Huskies after they trailed, and their biggest lead for the longest time was just a single point. Our next game on SNY is coming up next Wednesday night as the Huskies travel to Carnesecca Arena to take on St. John's. We begin with the Cadillac pregame show at 5:30 p.m. Note the earlier time. For Megan Kumo and our entire crew here at Gamble, Alan Bestwick, thanks for watching, and stick around. The postgame show coming up with Gary Apple and Kara Walters right now.
All right, Alan, we thank you. Back to you and Meg just a little bit as UConn gets the win. 224 consecutive wins now over non-ranked opponents, but they were down at the half. It was a little bit dicey. What changed as you saw it, Kara, for UConn in that second half?
Gary, I think you saw a lot of fatigue early on, right? They didn't have the energy. This has been a tough stretch for UConn, and it showed. Early on, they came out, the little lethargic. They're not doing the crisp things, the little things. It's hard to pay attention to detail when you're tired. So things just didn't look right on the offensive end. They weren't setting the screens and cutting, those kind of things. But in the second half, they got back to doing the things, those little things, and pounding the ball inside. So I think it was a really sluggish start, but I think you got contributions from a lot of different people to help. That's what this team needs, right? They have so many different weapons. Who's going to pick up, you know, on any given night if somebody's shooting bad? Paige Beckers didn't have a good first half. She had a much better second half. Olivia Nelson-Ododa double-double in the second half alone. So you saw the tide turn a little bit in the second half. but there definitely was still that fatigue.
Well, Olivia, you mentioned her. She had 11 points and 10 rebounds, as you mentioned, a double-double alone in that second half. And I thought it was a good bounce-back game for Olivia. She was relatively quiet in the South Carolina game on Monday. She had just 6 points, and she is such a very big part of what this UConn team wants to do as they go down the stretch here and then into the NCAA tournament. What was different for Olivia, especially in the second half as you saw it?
Well, and Olivia will say it all the time, right? Energy. It's bringing a certain amount of consistent energy, especially as an upperclassman. They started to get the ball into her down low, which I like. Now, you know, and Gino even said that 15-footer is not a bad shot for Olivia, and she should take it because oftentimes she's challenged, but that's not the first shot we're looking for, right? We're looking to get her close to the basket, her highest percentage shot. They put her in a great position to succeed, good passes in the right spots, and when she's open, she can knock that one down. But I liked her aggressiveness, her energy. You can tell she's making a better effort to really rebound. So there were a lot of things, but she'll tell you it was her energy first. But like you said, she needed this breakout game. Now, she didn't play bad in that South Carolina game, Gary, but offensively didn't have a lot of points, but she's setting a lot of screens. She's doing a good job getting her teammates open. But tonight, we needed the points, right? So she needed the points, and she did it. She found ways to cut to the basket. Better movement in the second half led to backdoor cuts and open opportunities in the post.
And as you mentioned, right, she didn't score a lot of points in the South Carolina game, but she did have 7 rebounds in that game and the 6 assists, which were really big. But, you know, you've often spoken about it, and I think we saw it on display on Monday night and at times again tonight. She has that open 15-foot jump shot. If she can confidently take that shot and make that shot, how will that change things, not just for her, but for the entire UConn offense?
For everybody. It opens up the inside, right? When she, and I understand what Gino's saying. That's not necessarily the first shot they want, but if they're sagging off, like Aaliyah Boston in that South Carolina game, she was way sagging to clog it up for Paige Beckers or anyone else to come through there. So if she can consistently hit that shot, then she doesn't have to take that shot, if that makes any sense, right?
Because the defense has to come out and respect it.
The defense has to respect that she can knock that down. So she just needs to look confident shooting it a couple times to make sure those people come out, leaves opportunities, especially for the backdoor cuts, because with Paige Beckers, you have to overplay her, right? So these teams are trying to get up and deny the heck out of Paige Beckers, which leaves backdoor openings, but you can't have them if you have a shot blocker clogging it up.
Let's go back to Gampo right now. Welcome back in, Alan and Megan. Guys, I think we've gone about 3 or 4 minutes here on the postgame show, and we have barely mentioned the name. I think it was the first time you mentioned, Kara, Paige Beckers. She was quiet in the first half. She had just 6 points in the first half, and then 17 of her 23 came in the second half. Did you see her being more aggressive in that second half, Alan?
You know what I felt like as I've sat here the last couple of minutes and reflected on it, what I felt like is this was a hangover from Monday night in the first half. It just was. It was an energy hangover. It was an execution hangover. And when they got a chance to catch their breath and get a talking to from the coach in the locker room, the second half was completely different in energy, in execution, and in results on the score sheet.
Perhaps they got some electrolytes, too, at halftime. I think that maybe helps. I saw them in that first half. I agree with you about the South Carolina hangover, but I also saw them in that first half standing around, and again, give credit to Seton Hall because they were switching and making things really difficult on UConn, but UConn played into their hands because what they did was, as we've seen them do before, they stood around, and I thought more than ever they kind of waited for Paige, like looking over there, like, okay, Paige is going to do something here, right? She's going to knock down another shot, and you can't wait for her. You've got to set her up, and those points have to come within the context of the offense.
Meg, Kristen Williams, 0 for 6 tonight, didn't score. Hey, I'm just going to come out and ask it. What the heck is going on with Kristen Williams?
I feel, you feel for a kid like Kristen because we've all had slumps. I mean, I know you never did.
No.
But we've all had, well, you are 6'8". Come on now. You're right there. But we all have gone through slumps. Every athlete has gone through slumps where your shot's not going in. And the key is you just can't. You hope that it doesn't get into your head. And right now, like, her body language was a little bit down. And so you just got to fight through it. You got to keep shooting, keep fighting. Or, as we've seen her do, and I think she's done a much better job this year, do other things, play defense, pass the ball, rebound, set good screens, find other ways to bring energy. And by helping others, you end up helping yourself.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Look, the time is running out on the season, and the tournament's looming large. So you need a player like Kristen Williams, who was supposed to be the conference preseason player of the year. But you need her to get going if you want to get where you want to be come early April.
Karen and I are both fighting here in the studio to ask a follow-up question. But I'm going to go with the first one. Are you seeing anything, Meg, mechanically from Kristen on the jump shot that looks off to you?
Not really. I mean, the mechanics I think, are just in her head. You know, you just think too much. You overthink everything. And, you know, she's a great shooter. She's a great player. She'll be fine. You know, she just has to keep shooting her way through it.
Meg, do you think Paige Bueckers being such a big part of the offense, do you think that's done anything to Kristen Williams' game? Like, let's try to get Paige open, or like mentally, do you think Paige scoring as much as she has been, does that affect Kristen?
I don't think so. I mean, you know, because we can't have any contact with the players this season. But all I've heard from the coaching staff, from those around the program, is that this team is so incredibly close. They're all great kids. They all love each other, and they spend, as we know, a heck of a lot of time together. I think they all get along great, and they're all happy for each other, and that's always been the hallmark of this program. I just think she's having a slump. And she's, you know, when you get into a slump, you got to get yourself out of it, and that's what she's got to do.
And we've seen a couple games in this recent stretch where the outside shot wasn't falling, and what did she do? Drive the basket. Seton Hall did a really good job tonight of closing off a lot of that driving to the basket early in the game, and maybe that just threw the switch on, okay, this isn't going to be my night. I mean, it's hard to tell, but definitely need her to get going.
Yeah, and they all struggled in the first half. I mean, nobody played particularly well from the offensive end.
Yep, you're right about that. All right, guys, we thank you both very much. The fighting will continue with Karen and I inside the studio now. Have a terrific rest of the night. We'll see you next week here. Our next game here on SNY. Alan and Meg joining us from Gamble Pavilion. So we're just getting going here on our post-game coverage. UConn gets the win tonight over Seton Hall, 70-49. Very different story, first half and the second half. We're going to hear from Olivia Nelson-Adota when we come back, plus complete game highlights on the way. Kara, back in a jiff?
Back in a jiff.
Thank you. Gary Apple back alongside Kara Walters. Here we go. Complete game highlights. Number 2, UConn taking on Seton Hall. Paige Bueckers, 3 consecutive games of 30-plus points or more, but she struggled a little bit out of the gate, and I think we saw it right here with an errant pass, Kara.
You don't see many turnovers like that from Paige Bueckers, but it gets better.
And then closing seconds, opening quarter. Huskies down by 6. Bueckers wanted a screen, and she didn't get. A little bit of confusion here.
Yeah, the miscommunication early in the game really did them in.
In the second quarter, UConn down by 5. Aaliyah Edwards going to grab the offensive rebound. She follows her own miss. She had 11 in the game. And then Aubrey Griffin on the floor for the loose ball. And you've got to like to see that.
Things that don't turn up in stat sheets, that's what Aubrey Griffin does. She doesn't get enough credit for it.
Under 2 minutes to go in that first half. Andra Espinoza-Hunter sizing up Nika Mule. She finishes. UConn down by 1 at the break. Don't adjust your television sets. UConn down by a point at halftime. Third quarter, it's Olivia Nelson-Adota getting the feed from Bueckers, and then under a minute later, tied at 37, Nika Mule from way downtown.
That's a big shot by Nika Mule. She missed the first one. With confidence, knocks down that one.
UConn up by 3. Bueckers now started to feel it a little bit. UConn had the lead by 8, and then Bueckers pushing the tempo right here.
She does a good job. She knows she's feeling it a lot more in the second half and splits those 2 defenders. She says, I'm going to take this one myself.
UConn by 6 after 3. Then in the fourth quarter, up by 8. It's Westbrook getting it to Bueckers from way downtown. Nothing but knock on there. She had 23 in the game, and then Westbrook going to nail one. And I thought Westbrook had a really strong second half.
Really solid. 0 points in that last game against South Carolina. I thought this was a really good bounce-back game for her.
So UConn gets the win, 70-49. They go to 15-1 on the season, 12-0 in the Big East Conference, and they snap Seton Hall's 6-game winning streak. Olivia Nelson-Adota, a double-double in the game and a double-double in the second half alone. A couple of minutes ago, she spent some time with Alan and Meg. Back to Gamble we go.
Olivia, thanks for joining us. What was up with your second half, my girl? 11 points, 11 rebounds. Were you just sick of what happened in that first half and wanted to come out and dominate?
we were all sick of our first half start. It wasn't exactly how, we should come out. But, we were able to just change our mindset and come out better in the second half and kind of clean up things, like our turnovers and mistakes and just finish out strong, I think.
What was it that Seton Hall was doing in the first half that was giving you guys trouble, trying to do what you wanted to do?
I think they just came out with more intensity than us. But, second half, that was the mindset that we had to come out with. And I think we did a good job of that, especially on the defensive end. And then just cleaning up our mistakes on offense. And so we were able to come out with a win like that.
Olivia, Gino called this 3 games, concluding with tonight, Marquette, South Carolina, and Seton Hall, probably the toughest 3-game stretch you've had all season. Has it been that way?
I think so, especially, for our entire team. It's been a really big defensive effort, especially for those 3 games. And so, I think as a team, we're slowly changing how we were in the beginning of the season to now, especially on our defensive effort. But, offense, we just continue to get better at. And I think, combined with both of those, we're able to pull out those wins.
Congratulations. Great game. And congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
All right, Olivia, we thank you, Ellen and Meg as well. And 4 games in the last week for UConn. Yeah. So maybe a little bit of fatigue right there. We heard Olivia say that Seton Hall came out more intensity in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, it showed clearly.
It did.
I mean, some of the things we saw in the South Carolina game weren't working in the first half of this game. In the second half, you saw the energy. And you know what I like about this team? They have so many weapons and different people able to pick it up. Now, Kristen Williams, a little frustrating. She's got to be frustrated with her performance as an upperclassman, not really leading by example. Alan said she's good when she cuts to the basket, right? Better than just settling for jump shots. You didn't see her cutting a lot. Seton Hall, again, give them credit. There weren't as many holes, but I felt like different people weren't finding things that they normally do, and as a fatigue thing. But Aubrey Griffin did a great job being long defensively, getting on loose balls. Aaliyah Edwards, we haven't talked about my girl yet. Aaliyah Edwards did a great job, strong rebounding. So it was definitely by committee, and that's what it's going to be all season long. There's not just that one person, even though there is Paige Beckers. We know there is that one person, but collectively as a unit, that's how they're going to win a national championship, because they need different people picking up the slack on different nights. I mean, Olivia didn't play that great. Kristen didn't play that great against South Carolina. And look, Olivia bounced back. Kristen's still where she is, so that has to be adjusted a little bit, but they are going to do it by committee.
Well, what about the fact, you talk about doing it by committee, what about the fact that Gino has all these different options this year, and Mir McLean really got into the game only for a minute or two, and she played a lot in the Arkansas game, right? She's a valuable piece off that bench. But how about the ability to go to different combinations when things aren't working? How much of a luxury is that for Gino, and how far might that go to helping this team try to get to where they want to get to?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, you remember, Gary, you and I were watching the game together, and I said, put Aaliyah in, and then you're like, but who do you take out? Right? Because Olivia was having a great game. Do you want to take Aubrey out of there for the length? So there were times where, he could have gone with different combinations. That's not a bad problem to have. But then he needs to figure out what works best. And with this team, different nights, different things work best. It's not one set thing. And that's what makes him a Hall of Famer, right? He's had to figure out what works, and he's been okay shifting things around. Some coaches are like strict, we're sticking to one lineup, and that's how it's going to work. He's been mixing it up, and he's figuring it out, and it seems to be working. So far, so good.
It certainly is. 11 points and 7 rebounds in the game for Aaliyah Edwards. So when she was on the floor, she made a difference. Let's get a check upcoming schedule for this UConn team. And again, it has been a tough stretch, but now they're going to take on Georgetown coming up on Friday, and then we're back here on SNY next Wednesday. They're going to be at Carnesecca Arena to take on St. John's, then Xavier and Creighton as this season marches on, as we march toward the month of March when UConn looks to make it a 12th national championship. We've got more post-game coverage on the way. UConn down at the half, come back strong in the second half. They get the win over Seton Hall 70-49. And Karen and I back from Studio 31 in just a moment. Here we go. First half, well, I should say game leaders, full game leaders. Paige Beckers led everybody on the UConn side. She had 23 in the game. Olivia Nelson-Doden the double-double. And then Avina Westbrook had 7 assists. And I want to focus in here for a moment on Avina Westbrook because she had a very quiet game against South Carolina. But look at the stat sheet tonight.
Yeah.
10 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. She had 3 steals in the game. She had a block in the game. And when she's at her best, Kara, that's the sort of stat sheet you see from Avina Westbrook. What impressed you about her tonight?
Well, the thing I like about her in general is that she's very versatile. She's a team leader. You saw in that South Carolina game, even though she didn't contribute on the court much, she was always yelling, and they call her the team mama. So she gets involved, her leadership role. She doesn't force anything. She was 0 for 4 from three-point land, and then she decides, let's go inside. There's some mismatches with some switches. Let's get the ball. Let's go to the basket. So when she goes to the basket, she doesn't focus on, hey, she missed all these three-pointers. She goes inside and plays like a post player. So she's like a big guard or a small forward. So she's versatile like that, and I think she was very smart and went to what was working instead of trying to force the outside game.
I love that step through, that splitting of defenders, getting to the basket right there. Is she better when she takes the ball to the basket and doesn't settle for jump shots?
She does both so well. Sometimes it's needed. Now, if I were a guard, I would drive to the basket a lot, too, because you're either going to get fouled or, get some points there. So I think driving to the basket, good things happen. But obviously, you need the jump shooting part of the game, especially when you don't want to clog it up. But that's why I think it's versatile. I don't think she's better one way or another. I think she does a good job of reading on what game does she need to go inside, like tonight, and what game does she need to stay outside where Paige will take it to the basket and then kick it out. So versatile.
Yeah, I think versatility is key here, and I think that applies to Kristen Williams as well. She had that big game few games back, and she said, you know what, I need to take the ball to the basket more.
Yeah.
And then she sort of stops doing it and sort of just, is on the perimeter and sort of meanders around out there. If you attack, get to the foul line, it changes the game for you. And I think when you talk about attacking, and let's get to your girl, Leah Edwards.
Yeah.
Right? When she comes into the game, and I saw one time where she just got, and Seton Hall's not a big team.
Right.
She understands for a freshman a little bit of a swim stroke to get great position, and she got fed. She got behind the defense there. What about her basketball IQ as a freshman, 16 games into her freshman year?
Well, she's not your typical freshman because she played on the Canadian national team. So she has some experience at a higher level. But Aaliyah Edwards knows how to use what she's got, right? She's got a big frame. She's solid in there. She hustles her butt off. She gets the rebounds, those 50-50 balls. She is all over it. So she brings an aggressiveness and a physicality to the game that is very, very important for this team. I like the high-low with Olivia and her. She does her work before she gets the ball. She gets in good positioning. Now, by that, I don't even just mean by post-up. We saw good footwork with the post-up with Olivia with a high-low, but good positioning also with rebounding the ball, right? She doesn't stand there. She watches, where's the shot being taken, where is it coming off the rim, and where do I need to be, right? So it's not a just fall into her hands or be athletic and jump. She's smart. She knows how to get herself into good position. I consider her a little undersized as far as height's concerned in the post, so she does a good job filling up the space with her bigness in there, her strong, her power body, and I think she does a great job all around. And talk about a kid that just doesn't need a lot of glory. Just wants to get the job done and whatever it takes for her team.
She brings her lunch pail.
Yeah.
To the hard hat lunch pail.
Yep.
But you talk about playing big.
Yeah.
Can you explain that again? There's one thing to be a big player, right? And then there's another thing to play big. What's the difference there?
I'm 6'7". I could make myself 5'7", right? If I call for the ball like
I'm not sure you could make yourself 5'7".
Or if I make myself big like this.
Yeah.
I have to present big. And the best position to be with your guard is basically my numbers and her numbers, like we're on a string from belly button to belly button. That's really the best angle to be at. Now, obviously, you do other things with your side, but if we can be on a string, like with my guard, showing my numbers, that's the best place for me to get the ball. And you have to know your post player. Like me, didn't really like bounce passes, wanted them up high where I showed my hand. Some people like the bounce pass, but making yourself big is getting into position, make sure you make contact with the player. When you drop step, you have to make contact with the player, right? You wrap them with your leg. Gary, you got me going on post.
I love it.
And post
I love it. It's what you do, Kara.
I gotta stop because I get too into explain. If you want a lesson, come over.
I would appreciate. I know you teach your girls.
I teach.
I'll be at your Connecticut home in the morning for. One thing I know is no matter how big I try to play, I could not be big.
No.
Right?
No.
You have that advantage over me in that space. But I love the lesson you gave us right there on playing big. We're not finished yet here on our post-game show. When we come back, we'll hear from the Hall of Famer Gino Auriemma on his team's 70-49 win over Seton Hall. You see, that's the sort of lesson I like from the Post. Fantastic.
Just give me the ball.
I love it. Here we go. Drive of the game presented by Subaru, and it's Paige Beckers, the fabulous freshman. Head is up. Sees the floor all the way to the basket. She gets to go. She had 23 in the game. It is the drive of the game as UConn gets the win over Seton Hall 70-49. They go to 15-1 on the season, a dozen and 0 in the Big East Conference. Let's hear from the Hall of Fame head coach right now, Gino Auriemma, his post-game address to the media.
We had a difficulty guarding them in the first half. We had a size advantage at some points, but it was hard to keep those matchups because we just we've got guys trying to guard. We got 6'2" guys trying to guard 5'5" guys, so it wasn't the easiest thing in the world. And offensively, we looked sluggish. I mean, I guess that was to be expected a little bit. But we didn't get started really till the third quarter when we came out and played better. And Seton Hall really played inspired basketball that first half. They moved the ball, they moved without the ball, they took advantage of some mistakes that we made, and they're certainly not an easy team to play against. But we eventually found their footing. And they're not always going to be pretty, Some are going to be a little more difficult than others, as they should be. I mean, playing conference games, they're not all going to be easy.
Avina Westbrook seemed to get back to herself after not scoring against South Carolina. Is that what you saw from her?
Yeah. When Avina's going to the basket and she's being aggressive and, making the defense have to respect her drives, she really opens up a lot of things for us. There's a lot of pressure on our guards to make a lot of shots, and he's one that's not going to, fortunately, is not going to just settle for jump shots. And she's one of the players that can get into the lane fairly easily, and I like exactly how she played today.
Kristen Williams did not get on the board tonight. Was there anything that you picked up on regarding her play and why that might be?
No, I mean, I wish I could give you something. She's just going through a really bad stretch right now. She's not a very confident shooter right now, a very confident offensive player. So hopefully, it's a phase, and then we'll snap out of it.
All right, so that is the head coach, the Hall of Famer Gino Auriemma. On the way out the door here, what do you make of what he had to say about Kristen Williams right there? Phase, hoping she can snap out of it. What are you saying?
I think the time she has had a slump and snapped out of it, she stopped focusing on being a shooter and focused on being a basketball player. So when she does the other things, I should say, playing defense, getting in passing lanes, driving to the basket. So when she doesn't focus on just being a shooter, she's a much better all-round player. So I think she needs to get her head wrapped around there. If you miss shots, that's not what we're looking for. Great players can still do other things. And that's kind of where, from the ground up, she gets better. Go back to the basics of being an all-round player. Your shot will fall.
By the numbers, she's 3 for last 17 over the course of the last couple of games. So that does need to change moving forward. So again, UConn in action again Friday, that game against Georgetown. And then we're back with you here on SNY next Wednesday, the 17th. Our pregame coverage getting going at 5:30 as the Huskies travel to Jamaica Queens, going to take on the Red Storm of St. John. So that is going to wrap up our coverage of UConn basketball on this night. UConn gets the win, 70-49 over Seton Hall. For Carol Walters, I'm Gary Apple. We thank you for joining us on the way out the door here. Sights and sounds of the Huskies win tonight over the Pirates. So long.